Hey guys, welcome back to Custom Computing. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is I'm finally going to be able to focus on my own rigs. I've been doing so much stuff with the shed and making sure that, the temperatures are fine in there, making sure that no matter how hot it is outside, their stuff is fine. I have neglected all of my servers here. So you can hear silence. It's complete silence. Everything is shut off. And so what we're going to do today is this is going to be one of my proof of useful work machines. They're releasing the proof of useful work Flux Core edition on the 26th. So what I want to do is I want to get this thing up and running. We're going to be replacing those two 3070s with two 3080s or possibly two 3090s. I don't know if two 3090s will fit in there. This is the smallest chassis that I have in terms of the length. All these other chassis here are full length, as you might be able to see. Whoa, that light's not too good, but yeah, you can see how long those are, right? So this one here is the shortest, and this is actually my very first 4U rack server. So this is the smallest one, and it needs to go up at the top here. So I have outlined for you, I have of extra space here for that server. However, there is a lot of things that need to change. For instance, I need to swap this switch with the patch panel. They need to flip this way. The reason being is because right now this patch panel has RJ45 connectors at the back, and I'll turn this off. Maybe this will be a little bit easier. Okay, there we go. And there we go. Basically, I just connect the RJ45 connections from the back into the patch panel directly into this switch here. Once I put a 4U server here, I'm not going to be able to access the back of this patch panel. So what we need to do is we need to put this patch panel on the top here, and that'll give me access from the top here. So I can reach down and put in all the cables from the top. So that'll be easy. So the patch panel is going to go up here, and then we're going to have the switch here, and then we're going to have that 4U small server here. There's a lot of things that has to be done. So one thing that has to be done is I need to remove this shelf. So I'm going to have to put the modem somewhere else, and I think I'm just actually going to put it on top because there is a shelf part up here. You can't see it right now, but I'll show you guys later once it's done. So we're basically going to just move that modem up to the top and fix up the cabling in the back, swap these two around. There's also going to be another issue with this, because this piece and this piece, once I flip these down, the section here is probably not going to fit along this bar. So we're going to actually Dremel this bar out. We've already Dremeled out a piece here to allow for all these connections, but we're going to have to just basically take this piece off and this piece off. I'm not worried about rigidity because all of these servers are keeping it rigid. They're all connected. So that one little piece being Dremeled off is not going to ruin the rigidity of it. So first things first, because I have customers all on this network, I need to basically plan it out so that when I do temporarily disconnect the network, it's only going to be for basically the rebooting of the router speed. So a couple of minutes max, maybe 3 minutes of out time, and then they'll be up and going. And then I'll be able to dismantle all of this up here, get around to the back, remove those fans, remove the shelf, remove everything, get everything out and clean, Dremel that off, and then we're going to be installing this. Oh god, here's a look at the back of the rack. So you can see all of the networking cable comes up through here, nice through this tight grommet. We've got a couple of fans that are exhausting the heat, because there was an air pocket in there, so we've got some nice fans in there which are going to be removed. We're going to have to take a look at this shelf here. I need to move it up about 1 notch. If I can move it up 1 notch, then we can keep that shelf. Otherwise, we're going to have to get rid of the shelf. So I need to take a look at the top of this to see how high it goes. And I think we're at the max, unfortunately. So I don't know if I can use this shelf. If I don't have to use that shelf, then I'm going to have to use the top here, basically, and put the modem on here, and then have the cables coming out there and wrapping around. Either, well, they're going to be directly connected through there, and that's it. We'll have 4 that are coming out here. So anyways, a lot of work to do. But now I get to rip things out with reckless abandon. So we just disconnected all of the RJ45 connectors back here. Now we're going to actually unscrew everything, take out the shelf, take out those back fans, rip everything out, clean it up, and then put it in properly so that this is flipped around, drumling this off, all that good stuff. A lot of work to get that little server up here, but that's what needs to be done because we have a really heavy octominer server which is not working right now. Octominer is working to get me a new one, and that's a really heavy server. So we're going to be putting that here eventually, and that's a really heavy server. So we got 2 heavy drive servers plus the octominer server, and then these ones cascading up to the lighter server. So there we go. Why do these things always become way bigger than you expected? What happened to my clean cable runs? Stay tuned. We're doing a networking change and networking upgrade. So yeah, that's where this mess is coming from. All right, we got everything pulled out. It's the disaster before the masterpiece portion here. So what I gotta do now is I gotta Dremel this piece off. So I'm gonna take that piece off because I already done the measurements. The switch is gonna go basically right here. So we gotta take this little piece off here, and then we'll be able to put back the patch panel up here, and then the switch here, and then the 4U server right here. So let's get dremeling. All right, so we got that dremeled out, nice and clean. We like sanded down so it's not too sharp, and then we were able to actually reuse that shelf at the back. We had to Dremel out the holes a little bit bigger, but we were able to bring it to the very top here. So I'm going to be able to access all of the stuff through on top of here, and I will still be able to slide in the 4U chassis, because the 4U chassis is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to come right there, and can't really tell here, but it will slide down with about 1/2 inch of room. So it will be able to slide in through here, and all of my other equipment will be able to be on top of the shelf here, which is awesome. We get to reuse that. We don't have to put the router and stuff up top here, because that would just be, I don't want anything falling off. On the shelf here is exactly where I want it. So we just had to repair one of these keystone connectors. The little piece of plastic broke off, so we just basically crazy glued it. We're drying it right now, gonna wait for it to settle a little bit, and then we're gonna toss this in the rack. Perfect. All right, we did end up having to change the other shelf to a shorter one, but we still got a shelf in there which has a lip, and I'll clean it off. But yeah, I can still install all the stuff on there, which is excellent. And these are now in place. You can see why I needed to cut this piece off here, because it goes right across all of the plugs, all of the Ethernet ports. And so we do, in theory, have the 4U space here. So what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna try and remove this server and rack it up into here. If it slides in, that is fantastic. And then we can start plugging things in, labeling and all that good stuff. But you can see why I needed to switch these 2 around, because again, all the ports come in the back, and I can access them from right here. So all of the networking is going to be coming out the top through here and just connecting with a RJ45 connector in the back there. All right, we're getting there. Holy shit, I need a beer. Okay, it took, I'm not even gonna get into it. It took a lot, because the rails that I used for this thing are refabricated rails that I pieced together from different units. A lot of this, even this rack here, is not an actual server rack. This is an audio rack, which I custom installed server rack rails, and we have fittings to make it so that this is all aligned. So this whole thing is like a kind of a jerry-rigged makeshift server rack, but it works. It's just not easy to do stuff. So we got this up there, which is excellent. I'm really happy that we got it up there. There's a little bit of space in between, which is also okay. And everything else falls in line. And then we have a gap here, which is where the octominer is gonna go. And that's awesome. So this whole rack is gonna be filled, and we need to start plugging in some of those networking cables now. Oh my gosh, all right. The cable cleanup is pretty much well done. I have all of my customer servers connected in. He's not running anything right now. They're all gonna be zip tied up here. So he's got all of his networking. We're gonna be zip tying all of this stuff off here like that. Nicely drawn into the back of the switch. Ooh, if you can take a look around here, see how they just go directly in with the RJ45s? It's perfect. So we got those ones filled in. Got a couple of the main ones over here on my house. So my house is separate from his. And then we just fill in the middle here, but everything is looking great. I'm really finally happy with how things are coming along. It still looks like a cable mess, but it really isn't. It's a controlled chaos here. So, all right, wish me luck. I'll get this pushed back soon, and then it'll be done. What a long journey. It is done. The networking is complete. We've got all 24 ports plugged in. We've got the 4U smallest server up at the top here on the rails. That's perfect. Then we've got down at the bottom here, while we wait for the octominer server to be put into this 4U spot, we've got kind of a 2U fan that's just drawing air into the back there that I had laying around. So we're going to be using that temporarily. And all of the power and connections are really clean, nice zip tied up. You don't see cables. I mean, you see cables coming out, but it's like night and day from what it was before. And everything is labeled, and it feels so good to have it cleaned, nothing on the ground, and everything is ready to be plugged in again and turned on. So really happy with how this project turned out. We reused the new shelf at the back there. All the cables are coming across and in directly into the patch panel at the very top, and then everything is drawn into the switch. Oh, I'm so excited. Soon all of this is going to be on at the same time and maximizing the crypto mining. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for more.